So the movie I decided to watch for the video analysis project was The Freedom Riders, and this movie is set in Los Angeles in a time of a lot of racial issues and gang violence. And so I had never seen this movie before. It was my first time watching it. I'd heard it was really great. And so the movie starts with a young teacher. It's her first year, and she gets a job at a school that is very rough, lots of at-risk kids, and so she gets a job teaching freshman and sophomore English. And of course, she's super excited. She has all of her little lesson plans ready to go. She shows up on the very first day wearing this nice pearl necklace, um, expecting all of the students to be super excited for the first day of school. And she's surprised because they completely ignore her, and a fight breaks out in her class on the very first day, and she has to call for help. And that's kind of the beginning, how the story starts. So, three of the positive things that she does in the story that help her become a good teacher and have a good teacher presence is the first thing is she never gives up on her students. So even after that rough of a first day, a teacher might be thinking, oh man, this is not the school for me. I need to get a different job. But that is not at all what she thinks. Instead, she goes home and she starts planning, and she starts trying to relate to the students and come up with assignments and projects that are going to help her get to know them better. And so she kind of figures out how to be a good teacher through trial and error, with trying out different things, and it shows her first couple of weeks there, things don't go great, and students don't listen, and at one point they stop even showing up to her class, and so it was not easy at all. But she keeps trying, and throughout the movie you'll see that eventually she does connect with the students. The second thing that she does that is really good and positive is she listens to the kids. She wants to get to know them. And so one of the really cool parts of the movie that I thought was she bought them all little notebooks. And this is right at the beginning when she's kind of had a discussion with them about the life that they have and how they live in a completely different world than her. And so she gives them all notebooks, and she asks them to write in it every single day. It can be basically about whatever they want, whatever is going on in their life, in a diary, poems, whatever. They just have to write every single day. And so she gives them all the journals, and she tells them that if they want her to read her journal, they need to put it in a specific spot, and then she'll read it, and she won't show anyone, and it'll be confidential between them. And so she does this. I don't think she was really expecting many students to do it, but the first time she checks her special cabinet, there's a bunch in there. And so through that and through reading them, she gets to know her students a lot, and that really helps her to get to know what type of issues they have in their life, what needs they need to have met before they can actually learn. So that was the second really positive thing she did. And then the last thing she did, she did lots of other things, but the third thing that I found that she did was she showed her students every day that she cared about them, because these are kids who probably don't have very many people in their life that take an interest in them and that care about them and what happens to them. And so every day, even if they weren't treating her great, if they were being disrespectful, she came and she was respectful to them. And she showed them that she cared by staying after school late, by reading their journals, and by having class discussions that had to do with their lives and who they were. And so a really cool scene from that I thought was there's a part of the movie where they come back for their sophomore year. And the very first day, she has them all come in, and she has sparkling cider, and she asks each of the students to give a toast for the year, like what they want to happen, what they think is going to happen if they study hard and if they do their best. And so a lot of them come up to the room, and it's a really, really special moment in the movie where you can tell that she's broken down those walls with the students, and she's gotten to a place where they feel comfortable sharing their personal life because they know that she cares for them and because she supports them and she wants them to do well. Now, three of the bad things that she did at the beginning of the movie that caused her to struggle and to not be able to manage her class. The first one is she did not understand the culture of the school at all. So her very first day, she came in, she had no idea. She had seen everything about all of the issues with the school integration, and she was just like, oh, this is going to be great. I'm going to go and I'm going to be a part of this. It's going to be awesome. And so she showed up on the very first day ready to teach her little lesson. It didn't go exactly how she wanted. It didn't go how she wanted, even close. And so part of her not being able to manage the class is not understanding the culture of the school, the issues that the school has, and the students and how they are treated and how they feel. And so once she started to understand that more, that really helped her to be able to manage her class better. The second thing kind of has to go with that. But another bad thing that she did in the beginning was she showed up and she expected that her students were going to respect her right off the bat just because she was a teacher. And that was not the case. Many of the students actually did the opposite. They didn't respect her because she was a teacher and because teachers in the past hadn't respected them. So through conversations in the first couple of weeks of school, this became very apparent to her that the students did not care and they didn't think that she was a good or trustworthy person that cared about them. So throughout that, she got to know her students, and she got to show more of who she was and gain their trust, and that helped her to become a better teacher. And then the last part is one of the bad things that she did on the very first day was she showed up expecting that the students would want to learn. And she showed up and she decided to teach what she wanted to teach. She didn't consider the interests of the students or maybe what they were going through. And so her lesson didn't go well. But once she began to get to know the students and the things that they had gone through in their life, she began to be able to plan lessons that really connected to them and applied to their life, such as the unit they did over Anne Frank and the Holocaust. That was very special to a lot of the students and helped them really connect to school and get involved and feel like they were able to be a good student. And all of the bad things that she was displaying at the beginning of the movie, she learned throughout experience, ways to fix them, ways to be better at that. And I think that's really what you have to do when you're a teacher, because your expectations going into teaching may be completely different than the situation of the school that you're going to enter into, just because the culture of every school is so different, especially depending on the diversity of the school. If it is high-risk school, low income, it's going to be different than if you are at a school with a lot of upper-class kids, just because they live a completely different lifestyle and maybe some needs at home aren't being met that need to be met before students can even begin to think to learn or to focus on schoolwork. So that's my analysis of the movie. It was overall a really awesome movie. I enjoyed watching it and would definitely recommend it to basically anyone. It was awesome.